in mind. We even were spiritually dead. We had gone so far until we spiritually died. So much so until God said, Jesus said we can't have it like that. I'll go down and pay the debt. That's why we're here today, because we have been forgiven. We have been set free. We have been made whole. And since we have been made whole, make somebody else whole by letting it go. Make yourself whole by letting it go. Free yourself by letting it go. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. You said, but Pastor, you just don't know. I hear that preaching stuff. I'm hearing it. You're looking at me real loud. And I can hear you. I can hear you saying, but Pastor, he cheated. I hear what you're saying. And I hear you saying, Pastor, she cheated. I hear what you're saying. But I hear you saying, Pastor, we were friends. I hear you saying, that's my sister. I hear you saying, but I was his best friend. What is it? BFF. Well, I have no advice for you, but Jesus does. And he says, you've got to find a way in your heart to look at how big of that issue was that you committed against Jesus. So much so until he says, God, I'll die so that he who has trespassed against you can live. So whatever you got to give up is not your life. It's not nearly as much as Jesus gave up for us. And then so secret number one is true forgiveness goes beyond any reasonable limit. Understand how lavishly you've been forgiven. And then, my brothers and sisters, forgive others just as lavishly and completely as God has forgiven you. The same way. Somebody say the same way. The same way that God has forgiven you. Somebody say the same way. Somebody play me off, Lewis. We can really go. The same way. The same way. The same way God turned a deaf ear and blinded eye toward that trespass against him. You've got to turn it away. You've got to turn it away from your sister and forgive your sister. You've got to forgive your brother. I talk to people who said, but you don't know how my mother treated me. I'm the oldest child, and what happened to me, I hear it all the time. And I tell people, look how you turned out. Tell your mother, rather than telling mother, you didn't raise me right, go back and tell mama, thank you for raising me the way you did. Somebody say, but you don't understand, Pastor. I was molested, and they took my body. I said, but they didn't take your mind. They didn't take your heart. They did not take your mind. You got a mind now that you can say, just like Jesus, Father, forgive them. Forgive my uncle. Forgive my daddy. Forgive my daddy's friend. Forgive my mother. Forgive my sister, for they know not. I hear you saying, but they knew. That's them and Jesus. I'm not forgiving you so that you can live. I'm forgiving you so that I can live. Let me ask you a question. Anybody want to live? Anybody want to live? Anybody here today want to live? Anybody want to live? I just want to live. I want to live. And there's somebody that you've got to say, I'm sorry to. You're not the only person who has been wronged. We have wronged some people. We have wronged some people. We have said some things that we shouldn't have said. We have been in somebody's business that we shouldn't have been in. We have participated in some stuff that we shouldn't have participated in. We've been in some conversations that we shouldn't have been in. We've hurt some folks' feelings. I said we've hurt some folks' feelings. We made some people cry. He says, forgive. So I need you to do just like the old goat. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. And let it go. This is the day that God is freeing us. This is the day that God is releasing us. This is the day that God is giving us strength. You will never know joy like you're going to know. Because when you let this stuff go that's kept you bogged down in your mind, you're going to find out now you got space to praise God. You got some space to tell him thank you. You got space to lift your hands up. You got space to run. You got space to have joy. You got space to have happiness. You got space for good, productive conversation. You got space for love. You got space to grow.